The Watergate Scandal. On July 17, 1972, burglars connected to Richard Nixon's re-election campaign were arrested after breaking into the office of the Democratic National Committee at the Watergate complex. Their goal was to steal documents, wiretap phones, and other illegal acts. Nixon denied the affair was connected to him, and his story was ultimately believed by the American people. Nixon was re-elected to office by a landslide victory, winning 60% of the popular vote and 520 electoral college votes. Interesting to note, there was one faithless elector, Roger McBride of Virginia, who cast his ballot for the Libertarian duo of Hosper's Nathan, marking the first electoral college vote cast for a practicing Jew and woman, who is Tony Nathan. Getting back to the Watergate scandal, after evidence was brought to light by Washington Post reporters, Nixon finally resigned in August 1974. The reporters were leaked information by whistleblower Deep Throat. Deep Throat's identity was maintained in secrecy for over 30 years. In 2005, Deep Throat was revealed to be W. Mark Felt, who was Associate Director of the FBI at the time of the Watergate scandal. Mark Felt revealed a world of presidential powers oversteps, including wiretaps, burglary, and money laundering. Funds used to pay for the operatives who conducted the break-in were transferred from Nixon's re-election campaign through a Mexican bank. Mark Felt was no freedom fighter, however, and his motives to turn informant included spitefulness of being passed over for the number one job at the FBI in favor of another Nixon loyalist who worked to block the FBI investigation of the Watergate break-in. The conclusion here are that presidential powers are increasingly likely to be abused, and we cannot trust the Justice Department, FBI, or CIA to keep abusive presidents in check, as the leaders of these organizations are appointed by the president themselves. As discussed in Part 1 of this podcast in reference to royal governors, when such power is concentrated in one person, who appoints those who are supposedly providing oversight, the government is fundamentally flawed and the rights of citizens are taken away. To have a system in place that relies upon the integrity of an individual against the awesome power of a sitting U.S. president is hopelessly optimistic. We must address how political appointees are monitored to make sure that they are not breaking U.S. laws in the process of conducting their duties. For further evidence, take a look at the Rockefeller Commission of June 1975, which uncovered the illegal activities of the CIA, including large-scale and illegal spying on American citizens in the U.S., intercepting and opening mail, illegal wiretaps and break-ins, as well as the infiltration of domestic dissident groups. The Church Committee in April 1976 highlighted the following illegal programs, including a CIA biological agents program whereby the CIA intentionally disobeyed direct orders from the president and, in violation of international treaties, continued to maintain a supply of illegal items including toxin weapons such as cobra venom and paralytic shellfish poisons, which were located in a storage room in the Fort Detrick Army Biological Agents Lab. Suicide pills intended to replace the standard issue cyanide capsules used by agents as a final evasion to capture. This was the alleged purpose of the shellfish toxin, and allegedly the only time it was carried was by Gary Powers during his U-2 flight over Soviet airspace. He was issued a deadly needle hidden within a coin. When Powers' plane was shot down by a Soviet ground-to-air missile and Powers parachuted into the hands of the Soviets, he chose not to use his suicide pill or self-destruct the plane. Instead, the incident became an international embarrassment for President Eisenhower and the United States when the cover story was proved wrong by the Soviets, who recovered evidence from the plane. When the CIA was discovered to be storing these illegal materials, they claimed that the president's orders were not followed based upon decisions made by low-level personnel, and that higher-ranked middle managers had no knowledge of the illicit items that were retained in a storage closet. The Church Committee also uncovered a White House domestic surveillance program initiated by President Nixon on June 5, 1970, to get better information on political dissenters of the Vietnam War. Options developed by J. Edgar Hoover, head of the FBI, and Richard Helms of the CIA were recommended by White House aide Tom Charles Houston to the president. Recommendations including programs that violated the civil liberties of American citizens, including enabling the federal government to reach all the way into every mailbox, every college campus, every telephone, and every home. 5 days after it was approved, the president revoked its approval based upon the advice of FBI Director and Attorney General. However, intelligence agencies paid no attention to the president's directives and carried on illegal activities. The Church Committee also uncovered illegal IRS intelligence activities, including IRS Special Service staff that were investigating political activists, IRS investigations of anti-IRS groups, and groups with extremist views and philosophies, including anti-draft groups and those who organize May Day demonstrations. The IRS investigated sales of firearms to the IRA, Arab terrorist groups, and those that traveled to Cuba, North Vietnam, and Algeria, which was in violation of existing acts, and those that resisted authority by encouraging armed service members to defect to the enemy. The IRS investigated rock festivals and certain individuals, including Nobel laureate Linus Pauling, Mayor John Lindsay, U.S. senators, including Charles Goodell and Ernest Gruning, Congressman Charles Diggs, writer Jimmy Breslin, singer James Brown, actress Shirley MacLaine, and activist Jesse Jackson. As part of its improper investigations, the IRS intercepted mail and communications without probable cause and used paid informants with the object of finding something of interest. Also included within the Church Committee were transgressions by the FBI. The FBI had a program designed to disrupt the civil rights and anti-Vietnam War movement known as COINTELPRO. The FBI's illegal activities first came to light as a result of a break-in to an office managed by the FBI in Media, Pennsylvania, by the Citizens Commission to Investigate the FBI that took place on March 8, 1971. The group sent copies of the files to certain individuals in Congress and newspapers. The documents highlighted orders from the FBI Commissioner, Herbert Hoover, to infiltrate and spy on student groups, civil rights activists, and war resistors. In conclusion, government intelligence agencies, including the FBI, CIA, as well as the IRS and United States Postal Service, engaged in illegal activities that deprived U.S. citizens of their rights. When governmental agencies ignore the law, direct orders of the president, and mislead Congress, distrust of the government is deepened. Thank you for listening to The Paul Christopher Show. For feedback, you can tweet me at Christopher Show, Kristoffer, or visit my website, paulchristopher.com, Kristoffer. Thanks and have a great day.